Various reports are stating that Tottenham Hotspur Football Club are backing Thomas Frank, but of course they want to see an improvement in performances and results. Sky Sports have just stated that Manchester City are leading the race for Tottenham Hotspur target Antoine Semenyo for the January transfer window. Reports in Spain are stating that Real Madrid are eyeing up a Spurs winger, and defeat for the under-18s on Tuesday evening in the FA Youth Cup. And the message at the moment is to talk is to do. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another episode of Tottenham News, where I began for all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's start by talking about a video released by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club across social media on Tuesday. Now, Tottenham have partnered with the Samaritans and the Premier League's Together Against Suicide initiative to help break the stigma around asking for help with your mental health. A powerful video featuring Tottenham's men's and women's team coaches and players addresses the importance of talking and reaching out, particularly over Christmas. The message is to talk is to do. Now, Tottenham CEO Min-hyeok has come out and said, "We are extremely proud to be working alongside the Samaritans to convey this message." Now, the club announced on Tuesday that they will be releasing a documentary on club legend Heung-Min Son titled Heung-Min Son: The Homecoming. It will be released on Wednesday morning. And now for some ticket news. Tottenham's matches against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League and Premier League games at home against Manchester City and Newcastle have now gone on guest sale. On Tuesday evening, the Spurs under-18s were in action, losing 5-2 at home against Brighton in the FA Youth Cup third round. Tottenham were 2-1 up in the game after goals from Elliot Paris and Thompson. Daily Express have just stated that Oliver Glasner will reportedly leave Crystal Palace when his contract at Selhurst Park expires next summer, and the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur could be tempted to bring him in following his endeavours in South London. Sky Sports have just reported that Manchester United and Manchester City are firmly in the race to sign Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth. They are the strongest rivals to Tottenham as it stands, with some insiders believing that Manchester City are the current leading contenders. Defensa Central in Spain have stated that Real Madrid are eyeing a move for Min-hyeok, who is currently out on loan at Portsmouth, also has spent time out on loan at Queen's Park Rangers. His performances this season for Portsmouth have not gone unnoticed in Spain, with the Tottenham Lone Star being closely watched by Real Madrid due to his immense potential. Reports in South Korea are stating that Tottenham do have an option to recall him in the January transfer window from Portsmouth, and Spurs may want to loan him out again, giving him a tougher test for his development. Clubs in Germany and France are monitoring the winger situation. Now, it's fair to say that Tottenham Hotspur head coach Thomas Frank has come under a lot of pressure recently, particularly after another defeat, 3-0 away at Nottingham Forest on Sunday. Now, Fabrizio Romano on how much pressure is there on Thomas Frank at Tottenham after another poor result. He has come out and said there is pressure, there have been internal talks, but they are still waiting to see results improving. Thomas Frank knows that the rhythm must change soon. BBC Sport on this story have stated that Spurs head coach Thomas Frank is facing internal doubts, but sources do insist that there will be no knee-jerk reaction to the loss at Nottingham Forest, and Spurs have not yet seriously considered dismissing Thomas Frank. The Athletic on this story, they are stating there is an awareness at Tottenham that Thomas Frank is trying to rebuild the whole culture, and it will take time to turn around. The clear position of the majority shareholding Lewis family is to stick with Thomas Frank and give him time at the club. There has been an update from David Ornstein from The Athletic on Thomas Frank. He said the word coming out of Tottenham right now is that they fully support Thomas Frank and they are backing him. The leadership at the club, of course, now it's in a more full-on way. The Lewis family, after Daniel Levy was sacked in September, you could say this was the first sort of test of their control of the club. And everything we're hearing at the moment is that they are behind Thomas Frank and that they do want to see an improvement in the team. And also, of course, they want to see an improvement in results. But now it has been a particularly difficult time for them. And there is concern in the fan base, clearly. There are regular meetings taking place, and we're told that within these meetings, of course, Thomas Frank and his position are discussed, but not in an abnormal way. There is no suggestion coming to us that he is under any immediate threat. Another report has just been published by David Ornstein from The Athletic. He has stated that Tottenham Hotspur are in advanced talks to name Manchester City executive Rafi Moersen as head of football operations. Deal set to be done for highly rated director of football transactions to join Tottenham Hotspur from Manchester City in prominent role. Now, Spurs defender Micky van der Ven took part in an interview with Gary Neville on The Overlap. Talking about Daniel Levy, he said Daniel spoke about how he looked at the club and he had a really good vision for the club. The stadium, the facilities were unbelievable. Ange Postecoglou was the one who really said, we are going to win silverware. At that point, I thought, I like this. Now, he was talking about Ange Postecoglou's tactics. He said managers these days analyse everything. They have 4 or 5 people around them who analyse everything about the opponent. And at that point, people knew, what we were doing, but we didn't really have a plan B. So we were getting exposed without having solutions. Now, Micky van der Ven has been talking about his relationship with Christian Romero. He said he is like a brother to me. On the pitch, you can see that we back each other up every time. And off the pitch, it is the same. We have an unbelievable back four with Pedro Porro, Destiny Udogie and Ben Davies, who brings a lot of experience to us. We have a really good back four that can do a lot when everyone is fit. Micky van der Ven then went on to say, I want to be one of the best centre-backs in the world, maybe the best. Micky van der Ven also spoke out about the football now under Thomas Frank to what it was like under Ange Postecoglou. He said, I like the offensive football, but I also like what we have now with Thomas Frank, now that we are more secure in the back and not getting exposed in some situations. I really like the offensive football, but I didn't like to be exposed every game on the counter-attack. And finally, Micky van der Ven said the aim at Tottenham this season is to finish in the top 4. Now, I do recommend go and watch the whole interview on YouTube, and it is on The Overlap. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode. I'm going to start by talking about Thomas Frank. Lots of stories published this week about Thomas Frank, of course, after that dismal display at Nottingham Forest. And I've said on a video after the game, that was really, really poor. And I've said all season, some of the football matches that we have seen under Thomas Frank this season have quite frankly been boring. And, one shot on target, XG has been really poor. Weirdly, though, in the Premier League table, we're 6 points away from the top 4. We're also 6 points away from 17th, where we finished last season. So, Spurs need to turn this around and quick. The performances need to be a lot better. The results need to be a lot better. Some of the player performances, some of Thomas Frank's tactics, some of the subs. I could sit here all day and night talking about the situation at the football club right now, but things ultimately need to improve. And I tell you, if I'm completely honest, I am a little bit worried about how we are setting up, how we are playing, and how in so many games this season we have had that lack of creativity. 0 shots on target in 45-minute spells of games, whole halves of games, 0 shots on target. We only had 1 shot on target, and that was through Archie Gray on Sunday. So that is not good enough. We need a lot more creativity, and we need to play a lot better. Games, of course, are coming thick and fast. We've got Liverpool up next. That's going to be a difficult game. What's an easy game in the Premier League nowadays? They don't exist. They're all tough games. Liverpool at home on Saturday, followed by Crystal Palace away, followed by Brentford away. All tough games. But I tell you what, Thomas Frank needs to turn this around and fast, in my opinion, because it is a results business. And of course, the fans want to see performances. The fans want to see that heart and that desire in matches. And I tell you what, that Nottingham Forest display was absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Not good enough. We need to do a lot better. Manchester City are leading the race to sign Antoine Semenyo. If everyone didn't see it, I had Tom Barkley from the Sun newspaper on the other night, and he said that the player is actually reluctant to sign for Tottenham. Personally, I can't see this one getting done, but I do want to see Spurs show real ambition, real intent in this January transfer window to add quality into Thomas Frank's starting 11. I saw a report from TalkSport stating that Thomas Frank has told the Tottenham hierarchy that he wants players in the January window that are going to go into his starting 11, that they are going to be starting players, ready-made players, also with experience. And I've also seen another report stating that although he stated experience, it doesn't necessarily mean older players. It just means players that have played a lot of games, whatever age they are, but not necessarily older players. But in my opinion, I think we could do with one or two more leaders in this team anyway. So if they are older players, why not? Bring players in with that experience, because it's always great to have leaders and experienced players in the dressing room. Real Madrid are eager to sign Spurs winger Yang Min-hyeok. Personally, I'd like to see Yang Min-hyeok get the game time that he desperately needs on loan at Portsmouth, doing really well there. So it's great to see that and great to hear that. And, I'd love to see him back in a Spurs shirt, and I'd love to see what he can do before we offload him anywhere else, because, we sign all these up-and-coming stars, and I'd like to see them play in a Spurs shirt. So we've got a lot of young players, a lot of decent young players, some of them out on loan, of course, and it'd be nice to see them in a Spurs shirt and get a real chance and opportunity down the line. Defeat for the under-18s, so they won't go any further in the FA Youth Cup. Defeat for them at the Lamex Stadium on Tuesday evening. And let me talk a little bit about mental health, because the message at the moment from the club, they put an excellent video out, and the message is to talk is to do. I can't state that enough, actually. If anyone is feeling lonely or they are feeling down, seek help. Talk to friends, talk to family. It's always important to talk about any issues people have, anything on their mind. Even if you wanted to say hello to me, send me an email, tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. It'll be great to hear from you. People should never, ever feel alone, particularly around key moments of the year, Christmas coming up. So don't ever feel lonely. Talk to people. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. Have a great rest of the week. Stay safe and well. Keep smiling, and come on, you Spurs.